you are not a victim. You have to know what you want and the direction you want to go before you can manifest or solidify what you desire. Every day I
Okay.
wake up, I believe I'm going to be determined in accomplishing my goals. I am going to step forward and complete my habits, my daily positive habits. Every day I wake up and use that quote in every move I make. I set an intention
Yeah.
and then I move forward and manifest the results.
Yeah.
Journaling is so helpful. And it's the pencil or the pen to the paper that's what's best. Not taking your cell phone and
Yeah.
writing your
I mean,
notepad. There's no way that your life doesn't improve in every substantial way if you focus on improving your mind, body, and soul.
welcome back to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where everyday people share the quotes that have shaped their lives, inviting us all to reflect and grow together. Today, we're joined by Kimberly Dorsey, known as Lucky Girl CEO, a life and success coach. Kimberly has transformed her own journey from childhood trauma and homelessness into a powerful story of resilience and empowerment. With a unique blend of discipline and spiritual alignment, she inspires others to break free from their past and step into their true potential. Let's dive into Kimberly's world and discover the wisdom that has guided her path. Could you tell me who you are, what the quote is, and yeah.
Who I am. I am
Yeah.
Kimberly.
Okay.
I go by
Okay.
Lucky Girl CEO. That's my name on Instagram. And
Yeah. Yeah.
my quote, I'm thinking you asked me for a specific quote. I can't remember exactly what I
Yeah.
sent you.
Asked you, and you told me believing is seen. And what I had in mind when I saw that response was you were going to come on the podcast, and then I will believe when I see you on the podcast. That's my
Oh, well,
interpretation of
there
that
you
quote.
go. There you go. Yes, because I was gonna just say one. I don't
Okay.
remember exactly because I signed up for a few at a time, but that's beside the point. But I was still gonna give you a
Okay,
quote.
do you have another one? So let me know the one I'm running with. I don't want a situation where the runner up is better than first.
Okay. Another quote is, "You are not a victim."
Okay, okay, okay. You did add that to the end, like what the big takeaway you want people to take from it. And so I think we'll
Okay.
run with it. So let's start
Okay.
with believing. Believing is saying. Um, how did you first come to that conclusion? And yeah, like yeah,
Believing is seeing. You have to know what you want and the direction you want to go before you can manifest or solidify what you desire. So you have to believe it first before you'll ever see it. You
yeah,
want some more? That's good.
yeah. Well, you have to believe it first. Now, this is one of the quotes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is one of those quotes where when a lot of people they hear it, they can easily subject it to a lot of misinterpretations, right?
Hmm.
And so for my question is, I know you know some, like this is not the first time this quote has like been around in your mind, has been one of the things that's kind of like been an icon point for you for a long time. So it's not like a
Yes.
quote you just discovered. Yes. What are some of the misinterpretations a lot of persons have when they hear of this?
People don't usually say this quote. They would say it the opposite way. So they would have to, or they would have to feel it, believe it the opposite way. So they would have to see before they believe. So that's my interpretation. I don't think most people would say it how I say it. I think a lot of
Mm,
people would be in conflict with how I say it, how I said it.
oh. And they'll have to see it before they believe it. I mean, what's the use of believing something if you can see it? Like,
Right?
like,
On a logical standpoint, I understand, but we are spiritual beings, so we can't
yeah,
think on logical standpoints. We have to go deeper, dive deeper.
yeah.
The person that built the World Trade or you're in Nigeria. I'm sure people are aware
So give
of.
an example. Give an example. Don't feel like. Just give an example. Just don't feel like.
Okay.
Don't feel like I will not
Okay.
get it.
Okay. Right. Oh, right. You're right. So, somebody that built the Eiffel Towers, they seen it in their mind. They believed that it's possible to be
Yeah,
built, and then they built
yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, they
That should be a
conceived it
good
in
example.
their mind, and then they did
Exactly.
things to bring it.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I know the example we're going to give was the World Trade Center or something like that. But
Yeah,
they
I was
kind
gonna
of
do
like
that, but I felt I went out of country. I'm trying to
yeah.
finagle it.
Yeah, like funny thing is that I don't know if you've read foreign books. For some reason, we just kind of understand and connect with. Like I do read a lot of books from other continents and countries, and for some reasons we just understand, like we understand the significance of, how do I put it now? There's all contextual meaning. You don't necessarily get what that stuff is, but based on the context, you make sense of what it means, and then you move on to get this.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Wow. Has it? Can you like share with us some of the points where you've actually like used this this quotes to like how do I put, kind of like apply these quotes where you actually believe something and then you.
Oh, every day I wake up. Every day
Okay.
I wake up, I believe I'm going to be determined in accomplishing my goals. I am going to step forward and complete my habits, my daily positive habits. Every day I wake up and use that quote in every move I make. I set an intention
Yeah,
and then I move forward and manifest the results.
yeah, yeah. And this will lead me to the follow up question: how do you apply this daily? Because the world is filled with a lot of distractions, and I strongly believe that we need to be reminded often more than we need to be. So how do you keep it front and.
I have a lot of great self coping mechanisms. So I do a lot of meditation, I eat healthy, I go to the gym every day. I constantly feed myself. I do a lot of personal development. So I'm aware of what's around me, but I'm not divulged in it. And I take the steps
Yeah.
to keep my brain sharp.
Okay.
One more time.
Do you journal? Do you keep a
Oh, do I
diary or
journal?
something like that?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, I do. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
journaling is so helpful. And it's the pencil or the pen to the paper that's what's best. Not taking your cell phone and
Yeah.
writing your
I
memo
mean,
pad.
it feels so real, man. When you hold the leather back of the journal and you just hold the paper and it's there's this realness to it that is different from
Yes,
digital.
yes, you can feel the release of the energy and the magic that
Yeah.
happens when you use it.
Yeah. Yes, this contact, you exchange, you speak, and it's different. And a lot of people will argue otherwise, but probably maybe because I'm old school.
I'm old school too. I was adopted, and
Yeah.
when I came into my family's household, my parents were 50, so I'm old school as well.
Yeah, yeah. Because for me, when like if it's something that requires me to like just write stuff, no, I'm doing digital. But if something that requires me to like think and then write it, I'm like, okay, we have to like do this with pen and paper, and
Yeah,
so that so that I'm not writing faster than my.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and then the digital helps. Say if you're like on the move or you're on the go and you just have to
Yeah.
jot something down real quick, you can use the digital. But once you get like settled in, you go home, get that pencil and paper out, and go to work.
Yeah, I mean it's what we call over here in Nigeria. There's this like a kind of like a trendy slang where you say it's collabo. Yeah, it's a collaboration. So they're both working
Hmm.
together. It's not like you
Yes.
have to be on one. We use it to solve our goals. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. The next question I want to ask is if believing in saying is a very powerful quote. Like it's one of those things that's drived a lot of persons that are okay. How do I explain this? A lot of
Take your
persons that have
time.
that have built any significant thing in life. Most of the time, when they had this, I think I saw a quote recently, and we had at Elon Musk. He made a statement where he said that he's hero. It's a funny thing. It's a funny thing that we started this conversation talking about how I'm not the first person to interview you on a podcast, and I was
Yes.
like, can you remember the fourth person to be on the moon? And the strange thing is that the discussion I want to talk about is actually about the first person to be on the moon, which is Neil Armstrong. And Elon Musk was like saying that the funny thing is that the people he looked up to when he started, when he had his like science, and of course, a lot of people say a lot of controversy about Elon Musk, but that's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, the whole thing I'm talking about is that the people he looked up to in science and in space and other stuff, like you could imagine that the man who went to moon is actually like fighting space exploration and other stuff. And of course, there is different arguments to all those things, but this is not about the argument. It's just that it's kind of shocking that the people you looked up to, the people you believe to be your heroes, they are not the ones telling you, they're the ones fighting and obstructing the stuff you want to do.
Mm.
It will take a lot of belief, right? It will take a lot of belief for you to actually pursue it, because now you have to like, because the people you respect, the people whose opinion you kind of like these people are telling you that that stuff is ridiculous because
Oh
they're
my
looking at the
goodness.
past, right? And you are looking at it tomorrow, but they are using the past to build it to the today, which, as much as it's saddening, that's what I want.
Yes, yes. And their lack of confidence in themselves. They like to project how they feel about themselves on you.
Yeah,
And it's
it's a
not
strange
okay.
thing about advice.
Like there's plenty of things I know. I mean, I'm good at a lot of things. I'm probably good at everything I try. But
Wow.
there's things that I've never attempted that I would probably be self-conscious about my first attempt that I would never knock down the next person trying to do that. I would always motivate and uplift the person to do what they want to do and what they dream.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. I feel like a lot of times when people give advice, they project their fears, and they advise their past self, and they're supposed to give you the advice, but at the end of the day, they're just talking to their the past version of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Could you what do you do? Okay, I shouldn't be asking. The question shouldn't be what do you do. For someone like you, I've met a lot of persons like you, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So it doesn't it doesn't get picked out of context. You see a lot of persons that they are good at a lot of things and they're into a lot of things. That when you see them, the question you need to ask them is not what do you do. It's more of like what do you not.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
For
what do you
sure.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join. Or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation. What do you do?
I am a life coach. So
Okay.
I have two different tiers where people can get coaching. They can get group coaching or they can get one-on-one coaching that's more intimate, that's more, how one-on-one goes. And that's what I do right now. I used to be into marketing. I work with business owners on marketing strategies and ways to build their business, but I've shut down everything and all my extra side hustles to focus on my life coaching and helping my clients.
Yeah, and this is me. This is one of those questions you ask, and at least I get to see the professional, so I'm going to ask. Life coach for me, I've never really been able to wrap my head around a life coach. You understand?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, how do I put it now? It's when something is so broad that you don't even like you know what it is, but it's just so broad you cannot exactly point to the specifics. Like if you say, okay, I have a podcast coach, now I can understand. Oh yeah, so the coach is going to help me, through my podcast and stuff like that. But a life coach, I'm like, dude, that stuff is so broad. Like, what exactly would
We be working on improving your habits because positive daily habits change your life. And we work on your mind, body, and soul. So once you encapsulate those three things, everything else improves in life. There's no way that your life doesn't improve in every substantial way if you focus on improving your mind, body, and soul.
mind, body, and yeah, yeah, life coach.
If that
Wow.
makes it more digestible.
Yeah. How do I say it? The adults in me understands, but the 5-year in me can't make sense of it. So it's not like
Okay.
I don't.
So,
You understand what I'm saying?
yes, talking to a 5-year-old, I would say I help people move their body, eat healthy, and make better decisions so that way they improve their life altogether.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, you're probably the first life coach that I've interviewed. At least I have a first to give to. Seems all your first are quick one.
Well, you're
Yeah.
my first interviewee that is in Nigeria. How about that?
Oh, oh, wow.
See?
Okay, okay. I'll take that one. I'll take that one. I mean, half
Yeah.
praise better than nothing. Yeah, I'll hold that one. The question I want to ask is, um, you talked about believing in sin, right? And
Yes.
yeah, that's great. That's awesome. But the question I want to ask, how can I go about believing something that I cannot see?
Believing something that you cannot see. Well, you have to first know what you want. because like we
But
can't
how
start
can I
from
know it if I can't?
right. Then you have to have a motivating factor. Do you have children? Is your family sick? You got a sick family member? Do you want to? You have to have a goal, something to motivate you, a why. That's what they usually say. You have to. What's your why? And then
Mm,
start from there. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and they were saying like, what if I was so depressed that I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything? I would motivate a person to get active, move your body, get your blood pumping, because once that's the start. Once you do that, sparks will happen, and you will have a starting point. I can
yeah.
guarantee.
Okay. So you're saying start with why? It just reminds me of Simon Sinek's book.
That's a book.
Yeah. Start with why by Simon.
Oh, okay.
Like it's a very popular book. It's strange that wow, wow. Like it's one of those like really important book, and it's the everything you just
Right.
explained.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's they say that when there's a will, there's a, and the will comes from the fact that it's anchored on not just the periphery or the circumstantial thing that I'm going to make a lot of money. It's anchored on something bigger and stronger than just making a lot of money.
For sure, because there's
I mean,
billionaires out here miserable.
yeah. I mean, making money is good, but at certain point, it's the thing about money is that at certain points you just make a certain money. There's in economics there's what called marginal utility, where making extra money doesn't necessarily change your lifestyle that much.
Yeah, or it can sabotage it. I was asking my kids
Yeah,
one day how could a bunch of money be negative to somebody, and my kids are smart enough to say, well, you can what did he say? I want to almost call him up here. Something like you can make yourself. I can't remember exactly, but I'll just give examples that I know off the top of my head. Say if you're not mentally stable enough, you can go out and buy all the drugs you want in the world. Or you can go buy a boat and don't know how to drive the boat. There's things that can be detrimental with money, and you're not where you need to be developed mentally.
yeah. I don't know if you've heard of a Getty like
No, but it's ringing a bell.
Getty image.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So I think the man behind that name, he was one time a billionaire and stuff like that. I watched a biopic, a movie about him, and there was a very quote that he made that stuck with me. And he was like, he wrote a book about how to stay rich, and he was like, no, you shouldn't use the title stay rich. You're supposed to change it to how to get rich. And he was like, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can get. The problem is
Mm-hmm.
staying rich. That's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and when he talked about richness, he was talking about not just there's so many kinds of wealth. I mean, this popular contemporary author Sahib Bloom. I don't know if you know him. He's popular. He wrote this book called The Five Types of.
No, not I'm bad with names too, so I probably am aware. But
It's a very current book, so I won't blame you that much. It's not like one of the old classics. It's very recent. I think probably he published it maybe this year or last year, so it's very recent. So it's basically the,
okay.
the five types of wealth. He talks about relationship. He talks about money. He talks about health, and I think two others. I can't remember what those two others are, but it's amazing how most of us we could have like four of the different wealths and maybe not have that much of the money aspect, and like, oh, I'm poor, I'm broke. Do you know what it means to be like healthy, like, and to wake up and say
Right.
I want to eat this food, and you have the appetite to eat that.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, people will pay billions to just have that, and we just take it for granted. We're
Mm-hmm.
not charged for it. It's free. I mean, it's not a big.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
We're spoiled.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're spoiled. That's the word. We're over familiar with the wealth. So we're like, it's not really big,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Wow, it's amazing how 30 minutes just flies so fast. I just from the very beginning when you hopped on I noticed, I knew that um I you shouldn't have been a guest for this podcast. You should have been a guest for one of my other podcasts that we do 1 hour because I knew that we were going to like have a great
Yeah,
conversation.
and you're a great host as well. You're a great host as well.
Yeah, I should say so. It's all right. I think that. I take that. My guest just said I'm a great host. Wow. I'll frame it. I'll frame it there. Yeah, I'll put it in
Right.
my wall.
Cut that
Yeah,
clip.
yeah. Thank you so much for coming to the podcast. Before I start asking questions that are not on topic, what do you do, and where can listeners learn more, and kind of like pitch your brand?
Yes, yes. You can find me on Instagram at Lucky Girl CEO. DM me if you have any questions about anything. I'm very, very active there, especially through my stories. I post ask me anything, Q&As, all everything. So find me on Instagram, very active, and I'm waiting to hear from you.
Thanks for listening to Relatable Wisdom. If you found something meaningful in this episode, make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. If you'd like to support the show, you can do that by buying me a coffee. The link is in the show notes. Every little bit keeps the conversations going. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep growing.